Simples. Alrighty guys, as I'm sure you've worked out, we're going to be looking at Fur and how he holds the connector on Mirage. So start off with here, you'll notice Fallen's just spotted the middle. I didn't really show that, but he ends up bouncing the grenade off the back wall and into the connector. This smoke's really powerful, it stops them moving up short really because it's such an easy one way for the CTs. See, he just plays here, he sits in this position here, it's good for info. You can hear them maybe spamming the spot, which really is why Fallen takes that peek, because he knows it's an AK, he has an AWP, he has a huge advantage if he can peek that. So then Fallen throws another smoke here, like as I said, really powerful smoke, and you'll notice Fur just has a look over it. It's a really good one-way smoke, I'll look at it more in a second in the server. And then he hears this smoke coming in, the connector control smoke, so he moves back outside the connector because he doesn't really want to get trapped in there because it's pretty easy for him to flash and just kill him. So we'll just speed this up a little bit, they end up coming into the connector. And this spot, I mean, a lot of this isn't played very often. You see, as the smoke fades, he peeks. He doesn't wait for them to, because I think they can see his shoulder there, and he ends up getting 3k. And he does it really well, doesn't expose himself. This last bit, he overextends himself. But I mean, it's fair enough, it's a 5v1, you're not really expecting someone to be there. So I'm just going to jump in the server now and explain some of that and look at it more in depth. Okay, so holding the connector, what Fur does is, so he bounces this grenade off here. It's just to get it to land faster, so that's faster than something like that, because you gotta wait for it to bounce. I mean, it's not a huge thing, underarming it, if you have time is fine. But then this smoke here, so this is a super powerful smoke, always a one-way. If they try and push up short, you're pretty much gonna have a huge advantage. You can play anywhere in here. Look over them. Obviously you see Fallen peek here with the AWP, that's only because they're spamming with the AK, he thinks he can get the kill. It obviously could have been bait, they could have had their own AWP looking on it, but it works out well in the end. So then you see Fur move here, which is just good for info. The closest position you can really be to top mid, possibly hear the footsteps, work out if there's an AWP top mid and yeah, what's going on there, 2-3 players, just get info. And you'll see again with this smoke, you can look over, the one that Fallen through, you can look over and play, look at underpass coming out, stuff like that, just super powerful. So then you'll see the T's throw the smoke here, which covers off the connector, lets him isolate it. The reason Cold gets out of here is it's normally going to be maximum 1 kill for him, 1-for-1 trade, which always favours the T's usually. So in that situation definitely would have turned into a 4v4 I think. So then he comes out and plays this close position, waits for the smoke to fade, and then as it's fading he comes out and he instigates the fight. He comes out and peeks, gets the first one, second one. You see he keeps peeking. The thing is, because he knows the T's are going to want to trade, so this first one he has to peek because otherwise I think they can just see his shoulder here and then he's going to get killed. That's why he has to instigate it. You see him step out and try and get the kill. Also the T's here are worried if maybe I think Fallen was back in CT. If he peeks out, you can peek on top of the ticket booth or whatever. That's another angle which Connector has to worry about when you're trying to come up it. So he instigates this fight, gets the kill. Yeah, it works out pretty well. Then you notice he comes up here, ends up getting shot from T. This is like, it's a 5v1. He's probably not expecting one T main. I mean it does kind of make sense when you have 3-point up Connector, 1 lurk out there. But the thing is, one more thing I want to talk about is when you're playing the Connector, you do end up coming outside the Connector, say someone throws that smoke or you're just forced out just because you have to. Is I see a lot of players, they run out and they're like worried they want to come to jungle, end up getting shot. Don't do that. I mean, if you're going to do it, maybe flash or just come out with your crosshair like that if you want to come to jungle. If you have a teammate in jungle though, you can make this area very clustered. So if you end up being forced out and you come to jungle, you've also got a player playing window, you've got 2 players stuck here if they end up smoking you off or something. But I mean, A side is good to retake, but normally I'd prefer just maybe play the stairs so you have your players more spread out. You probably have another T player here or a CT player, your teammates there. So yeah, that's all about that really. That's just a standard kind of round, the steps you'd take falling back and then playing the stairs and how you're going to play it. One more thing, if you do come out and you didn't use your smoke here, I'd recommend you normally do. You want to smoke off Palace, you don't have to peek it and risk getting a shot, just aim that to the top of that. From anywhere, that'll work anywhere along here. And that's going to smoke like that. So then going on to the next clip I'm about to show is playing these positions here. So one thing I'll point out is if you play looking into the wall like this, you just can't be seen from top mid. If they work out you're there, say you get 1 kill, they can spam you though, however, and kill you relatively quickly. So I'm going to look at those clips now. Okay guys, I'm going to show 2 clips of Fur playing this close position and point out the differences between them and how they used, like he gets a kill in both of them, but how this one's a lot better and a lot more effective than the second one. So to start off with here, we'll see he's using the one-way smoke, as I said. He's chucked it down and it's super powerful, they can't come up short. You'll see I just put this in double speed. They do throw that smoke which lets him go up and he ends up hiding in this corner like I showed, so they can't really see him. So you'll see he ends up getting a flash from a teammate. I think it's from A site. You see he flashes them, gets out, ends up going back for more. I don't know, he's pretty confident they're not underpass. I don't know. No, so he's pretty confident and he ends up falling out. So that's the first one. He ends up getting away safely from that position, which can be a problem, is you get stuck there. So I'll just look at one where he does get stuck there and what the differences are. Okay, so this time you see he's in the exact same position, but he's had no flash from a teammate. As you can see on the map, they're starting to move down middle now, the T's. So we'll just play this out and see what happens. So he ends up sitting in this corner and he just waits. No teammate flashes. I mean, that might have been one, I'm not sure, but he didn't peek with it. So you see he's just waiting here. He has good info. They haven't spotted him. The Molotov comes out. I'll just fast forward that. And you see they're going to eventually come up connector. So he gets his first kill. And he stays. He ends up getting stuck there. You see, the problem is he couldn't escape, or he didn't escape. And that's the problem with that position, is it can be very hard to escape sometimes. So the main differences to notice between that and the first round is he was more the aggressor in the first one. So he got the flash out, he was able to peek and then escape. That one, he's waiting, he's more reactive, so they come into connector and it's often an easier trade. If there's one person coming up connector, there's normally quite a few there, which ends up with him getting a bit stuck there. So if you're playing that position, I'd recommend asking for a team flash and playing it how he does in the first clip and not really the second one. Even though he does get the one kill, they win the round. It could have ended up being a T trade in a different situation and they could have struggled with the round. So I'm just going to quickly look at one last clip here where he goes aggressive up middle with the player from window, so he ends up pushing up the connector and getting right in their faces at top mid. Okay guys, so pushing up mid now, the aggression you see here straight off has a good spawn. That's the first thing to notice, is this is a lot easier with a good spawn, otherwise you could get caught by an AWP peeking it. Say JDM wants to peek middle dry, you could get destroyed here. But you see he has a good spawn, he gets out in time, the smoke goes up. His teammate Phelps just a bit of spam, he ends up getting flashed, that's the first kill. He's pretty confident, goes back to the second one, it works out well, he ends up just escaping. One thing you would have noticed there is Cold peeked up short. Just quickly, and I'll show you why. There's a gap in the smoke, and I'll just cover how that all went down. That's pretty much it. I mean, for one up middle, one thing to note is you do have to worry about underpass in this situation, but I'll just quickly cover how you can counter that and how you can make this mid pressure work really well. So I'll see you guys in a second. Okay guys, so the thing you'll notice with that middle presence is obviously Fur jumps out, he has the good spawn, and then Phelps comes here and he just spams the middle, like so. That's just a little bit of a distraction as Fur comes up here again. So the flashes come out, he does get blind a little bit, but he's able to just hug this wall, and it can be difficult for the T's to come out and see here, and he comes back out and gets the 2 kills. Which, I mean, it was pretty simple. I mean, obviously the T's can flash you off, and there's always a risk to this. You can also be pushed from underpass. So the thing to realise here is it takes 15 seconds. Say a player runs this knife out all the way from spawn to underpass, the T player takes about 15 seconds. One thing is, Cold would hear this from short, and be able to tell Fur about it, but generally a player's not going to do that. They're going to be worried about an underpass push or something, which is a possibility from the CTs as well, but I'm not going to cover that in this video. So he's probably going to come around here with his gun out, have a look, and then start coming. So it's probably going to be realistic, maybe like 18 seconds, and that's if the player is in a rush. So the thing to notice here is Fur does get his 2 kills, and then the third player here, I can't remember who it was, he's very keen, he's like, yeah, I got to get this trade. But the thing is, he ends up getting AWP'd. So the thing with the standard top mid smoke, I hope you all should know it, but this one here on top of the bin there. So the thing about it is it nicely blocks off the window where Phelps is, and he just ends up spamming through there. But the thing is, there's a gap this side. So after Fur gets those 2 kills, it gives Cold time, and he can hold this angle here. So that you can see all the way out to about the side of there. So you can see, if you're the T player with your AK and Fur's against this wall here, you're going to come out and try and peek this. At which point you fully expose yourself to this short play, which had ended up getting the 3 easy kills at middle. I mean, Fur did get a bit greedy with his second kill, but it worked out okay. Often you'll see him just get the one teammate or flash from window or something, and then he'll just escape, again worried about this underpass player. One thing you can do to slow down this underpass player is, as this CT player comes to peek, you can Molotov there. If you don't want to give away your position, you can just get the guy from window to Molotov down, and that just gives you more time where you don't have to be worried about being shot in the back. Besides that, I think it's relatively self-explanatory, the push up middle. It's just a lot of teamwork. I mean, if you're solo in matchmaking, you could struggle, but if you get some good teammates, ask them to push up short or flash you or whatever, it could work out quite well. And yeah, guys, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Videos should be a little bit more regular now. I'm just finished with the uni exams the other day, so hopefully I can get a little bit more of a schedule going.